All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the HireMyVA Team and Business Building Podcast brought to you by yougozi.com. And in this podcast and at HireMyVA, we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank. And of course, that bank is your bank. That's the most important bank. And I'm Dave Braun, and I'm normally here with my partner, my fantastic business mentor and coach, Larry Broughton. But today, it's me kind of flying solo, but we've got a really, really important guest that I think you guys are going to learn a lot from. This is one of the most important members of our team, Daphne. Now, your last name's Versilla, but you've got Daphne Burr for short. So say hello, Daph.
Hi, everyone. I'm Daphne Burr, Versilla in the long term. So I've been with Dave. Should I start introducing myself?
Yeah. About how long have you, who are you? What's your role? About how long have you been with, working with me and Larry and all that?
So in a few days, exactly, I think a week from now,
okay,
I'll be working for you for as long as 7 years.
Yeah. Wow. So this is May 2022. And when we're recording this, so yeah, it'll be almost 7 years. I've been working with Larry and me, and mainly with me.
Yep.
We work together every day on a lot of stuff. So tell us more about your role. What do you do? Maybe talk about how things have started for you and how it's morphed and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so it was year 2015. I was a month off college and I wanted to look for a job, but I think I already know from the get-go that I didn't want to work on an office setting. So I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this virtual assistant thing. I'm going to give it a chance because other family members are doing it. And then I saw Dave's job opening, and he was looking for someone who can just do repetitive tasks on WordPress and a little bit of design work. Just a little bit, yeah.
Here and there. Yeah. You more as a general virtual assistant. That
yes.
was kind of your requirements, right?
Yeah.
And it was, And so I remember interviewing you and a few others, and I remember one of the things, Daph, and if you have forgotten, but I tell you this every now and then, one of the reasons that I picked you over others, because the skills, you guys were pretty close, but your personality is something that drew me to you, like the joy that you have, how much you laugh and how much fun you have. And I think that has helped us morph the company to have core values of, we have GRITS at Pro Website Creators, but GRITS is the acronym for it. It stands for GRINS, Relentless Improvement, Integrity, Thankfulness, and Service. So grins and laughter and having fun, and that's your dog.
Yeah. Hold on. Pause.
Yeah. That's all right. That's okay. So anyway, 7 years. And so tell us a little bit more about how your role has morphed.
Okay, so before, when I started as a part-time. Yeah, I started part-time with you, and I work at night to be able to cater to your US nighttime. And then from just doing really, really basic things like posting daily stuff for YouGozi.
That's right.
And setting up the emails and stuff, I started our first project, Tommy Watson. That's when it all started, when we made a logo for him and the website mock-up.
That's right. Man, you have a better memory than I do.
Yes, and then we started with Slack and Trello as project management tools. Crazy.
Right. Yeah. So we started off as we normally recommend that for people who are just hiring their first virtual assistant because it worked well for us. Trello and Slack work well. They're free tools. And I mean, you can hardly go wrong until you start expanding your team or have a whole bunch of different projects and you really take what you're doing in your business to a new level. So, and Daph, you were our first Filipino virtual assistant that I know that I had worked with directly, right? So I was, as I was hiring you, I was kind of fumbling and guessing and all that kind of stuff, and all of that work with. And since we've hired, a whole bunch of different folks, and so through that whole process and through all the trials and the learning, and that's how we came up with the HireMyVA course and community, and of course our white glove service,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
which you have been instrumental in doing. Like, I think you've done like all the graphics for it and laid out all of the
The
even our
tools.
opt-ins, the
Yep.
tools, helping us get Kajabi going.
Mm-hmm.
Your skills have morphed like crazy over time. They really, really have. And in fact, nowadays, you're so responsible for doing the mock-ups of pretty much all our websites, right?
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Both
then
the 1 week and the WordPress ones.
that's right.
Crazy.
That's right. It's like, give all this information to you, and Daff, you go and do it. It's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So think about the top things that you've learned since being with us. You started off at 20 hours a week. Now you're at about 30 because you wanted to have a little bit more income and more time.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that when you're talking to different virtual assistants, there are some that want to work part-time and full-time. Generally, we think a part-time is 20 hours, full-time is 40, but you're kind of in between. But one of the key things is your exclusivity. Now you do other things on the side, but you don't really work for anybody else.
No, just some side hustles from side to side because I do some drawings. So I kind of sell some of them to people. But aside from that, in a legit work setting, I only have pro website creators.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you're working, of course, pro website creators and all the stuff you're doing for Ugozi
Yeah.
and
And
Hire
all the
My
other
VA,
stuff.
right? There's a whole bunch of stuff. So tell us about the top things that you really have learned since working with us. Now, and
Um,
you can take that any direction you want. You can take that as far as the like maybe hard skills about, you've learned a lot about web design. I mean, you can take it that way, or you can take it more as personal development, however you want to do it.
I guess we can do both. Let's start first with the technical side, the work side. I practiced, well, yeah, I practice doing a lot more critical thinking, and being more proactive. Because the thing is that Dave or whoever you're going to work for cannot always spoon spoon feed you with information.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to troubleshoot some of the problems yourself. And that's not saying that you cannot come for them for help or ask questions. It's just that you yourself would want to troubleshoot things on your own in the first run, because that will help you, I guess, hone your skills,
Okay.
learn a lot of things.
So trying to be proactive and troubleshooting, you've learned some of those things. What else?
um I guess just don't be complacent. Whatever skills you have when you got hired, keep on developing them, add more to them, be more um what do you call this, be an asset for the team, if that's a right word for that. Yeah, just gain more skills and use it to help the company grow, basically.
And that's great advice for anybody, even if you are the boss, you're the owner, whatever term you want to use, a manager, if you are
A leader.
leader or whatever, you have to keep growing. You have to keep moving forward because things are obviously changing. There's other people around you that are getting better. So we have to get better at our skills. So it's important for everybody, even if you are an employee at a company or working part-time, whatever, you have to continue to get better and seek out ways that you can get better. I mean, in fact, I remember you've taken some courses on your own. that you've wanted to learn about. And, to be honest, sometimes those aren't exactly applicable to our work. Other times they are. But I think the point is that when you are in a learning mode, when you're continuing to improve yourself, there's going to be some aspect of what you're learning is going to rub off in some other area in the company.
That's true. And I think one of the driving force that made me want to learn more is that you yourself is trying to learn more. I can see that.
Yeah.
So, you kind of served as an inspiration to be a progressive person, to keep on learning.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and I think that rubbed off not only to me but for the rest of the team, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are some of the things you've learned. So think about like yourself personally. So you are not the same person, obviously, now as you were 7 years ago, right?
Oh,
And
definitely.
so talk about how you have matured as a person.
I think when you first started working with me, I wasn't that punctual. If you remember, I was on probation for a while because of not being punctual. And then I wasn't really that keen into communicating properly, like updating you, even with the little things. Because what we do here is it's better to over communicate than to not communicate at all. So
You're a
those are
HireMyVA disciple. There you go.
now guys, I'm the one who watches the videos and edits them. But yeah, so when I was starting as a VA, I didn't know that those things are important, because when I was in college, everyone that I have to talk to are just around me. But in a VA setting, it's different because you're working remotely, so you have to over communicate so that the person on the other side wouldn't be wondering what you're doing, if you finished your task, and etc. So you have to be proactive in updating your status yourself so that the other person wouldn't end up micromanaging you.
Well, and so, and to dig in a little bit over the course of this time, I've been on you a lot about making sure that you communicate, right?
True.
And I'm on everybody because it is so important. And I'm on myself too. I make sure that, every day, unless, I'm with my mom at breakfast or something, but I tell you what I'm going to be doing. I check my stuff off. I communicate with you what I'm doing because I want you guys to know that I'm in there working as hard as you are and what I am doing. And that way it gives you the opportunity to come back to me and say, hey, Dave, can I help you with this?
True.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so then I think, I'm sorry.
No,
I think
ahead.
Another good thing is that instead of just, because now we're using Nifty, and of course emails, you have our company emails. I think it's good that we opened another stream of communication that is more casual, which is Messenger. Because here in the Philippines, we have this Messenger Lite wherein even if you have a small amount of data, you can still send a message. You just cannot send pictures, but you can send a message. So if it's in a emergency setting, we can still communicate with you.
And that was one of the things that I just this morning, I got off one of our, what we do now in our HireMyVA process is, we do the prepare, hire, and thrive portions. But in our white glove service, we have multiple meetings, but we've got 2 thrive meetings. So the first one is just a quick one that happens within a week after the person is hired by you, for example, or hired by somebody. And we talk with the business owner and say, how's it going and all that. And so just today, I had that quick 15-minute meeting and discovered that the person hadn't developed that backup communication channel. We talked about that exact thing. So that's one of the things that is really, really important to keep the communication going, is to have that secondary communication channel. And we have that through, Facebook Messenger, and that works well because we're constantly saying, hey, because, every now and then, if power goes out or something, you guys can at least say, hey, power's out. I'm not sure when it'll be back on, or my internet's down or something, because it just does happen there.
That's true. And I'm pretty sure not all of us have Nifty on our phones, but I'm sure everyone has Messenger on their phone. So, just texting is just a reach away.
Yeah. So we've morphed as a team, going from Slack and Trello. We went to Basecamp for a while, and then we
Mm-hmm.
moved off of that on to Nifty, and we know several folks that are using that. It doesn't really matter what project management platform that you use, just make sure you use something and are consistent with it. And
And also something that has a capability to do instant messaging. That's really
right,
important.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah, and one of the things that we're doing is, of course, we check in and check out every day, keep the communication going. And we're getting it better and better, we're getting better and better at it. So talk about some of the folks that might be listening. They really don't know what it's like in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about some of the challenges that you have in the Philippines.
Okay, I guess I
What?
can only speak for what I experienced, because Philippines is an archipelago. So like in our team, so how many are in our team right now? Around four
Okay.
VAs, and then you. We all live in different parts of the Philippines. So I live in the capital, which is Manila, but then our web developer is on the South Island. And I think all the other two social media managers are also in the southern side. So they have their own challenges there.
Yeah.
But for me in Manila, I guess my challenge here would be um sometimes I lose internet connection. Yeah, sometimes I do that, but it gets fixed really quickly. Not like our other VAs that takes a while
Yeah.
before their internet connection gets fixed.
And that's why it's so important to have the communication and the backup communication, so that you know when that happens,
Mm-hmm.
because power sometimes goes out and internet sometimes goes out, or it gets really bad, meaning the internet drops. The other thing that happens a lot in the Philippines is you guys get a lot of storms.
Yep, that's true. We have at least five typhoons in a year.
and that
So
and obviously that interrupts communication and sometimes
true.
power.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sometimes power, and sometimes it takes a while for power to get back on, and we cannot do anything about it because it's the government that turns it off.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you want backup, there's no way of backing up.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If we recommend people asking their VAs if they think they need to have like an uninterruptible power supply, to give them another few hours of power, if at all possible, to finish things. But if there's a typhoon, of course, but it's not just typhoon. Sometimes it gets really, really hot there.
That's true. Gets
And
really, really hot to the point that it's really hard to work unless you have an AC.
yeah, and so it's important to know what the conditions are like of the virtual assistant that you hire, right? So you can
Mm-hmm.
anticipate that. Because go ahead.
And also, I think it's important to know um the situation at home of the VA that you hire. Like for example, we have a lady in our team that lives with her younger kid and her husband, and there are times when she needs to take like an hour off in the morning so she could take a bath and feed her child, and then there's me who I don't have much responsibility, but in the mornings I also take my dog for a walk. And well, months ago months ago, it was really hard for me to work as well because I still live with my family. So I have this constant people barging through my door. But now that I moved, it's different now. So work is more focused. But I guess that's important to know because it's not only going to be storms or power outages. Your VAs are also going to have their own personal problems that would hinder them from being 100% every day at work. So you have to know that as well. Is family okay? Is there drama at home? Is your kid sick? Are you sick? Not only physically, but also are you still mentally sane? Stuff like
Yeah.
those. Yeah, so those are the things that you need to know if you want to create a rapport and a good relationship with your VA, because those are the factors that would make them want to stay with you. Is when they don't feel like they're just an employee.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good advice. I would say one word that would kind of sum that up is to care.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Is to care. Now, one of the things that has changed over time as well is how you're communicating to clients.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
You've
Mm-hmm.
been communicating to clients through email, you know, over the last few years, but describe how you have started communicating like on Zoom videos and stuff like that with clients. Talk about that whole process.
Okay. So before, I was really shy, and I would always tell Dave that I don't want to be on video or talk to a client. But then, as the business grows, and well, as the business grows, we need to be able to go with the go with the time, to update ourselves. And now, when we give, let's say, website updates to our clients, we cannot just do it through email because it's not going to be effective. So we have to record videos. And I guess that's when I started being more comfortable with talking with clients, is recording videos with the status updates of their websites. And then I guess we progressed on you asking me to join when we talk to them regarding their website as well. So sometimes you have this live editing collaborations with some of our clients where I do the Photoshop in front of them so they could be very specific with what they want. So in that sense, I'm talking to them directly now, and they know who's behind the scenes. It's not just Dave. There's also Daphne.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and we didn't start out that way, right?
No, no.
It took gradually some time for me to be comfortable with it, but then for you to be comfortable. I remember, yeah, you were pretty uncomfortable. I kind of almost had to force you to do it, right? A couple of times.
Yeah, that's true. And I remember when I'm going to email someone, I have to run it through you first. But then now what happens is that you just let me email them because we have this project's email wherein you can see the conversations I have with them.
Yeah, if I want to,
Yeah.
a lot of times I don't. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I might check it here and there, but a lot of times I just won't, because over the course of time, you've earned that trust.
Mm-hmm.
And, at this point, you'll make as many mistakes. How do I say this? Any mistakes you make with client communication will probably be, I'll probably make just as many myself. So
Yeah.
it's not that but it does take time to get comfortable with that for both of you. Now, having a new person come on board, now going forward, I'm ready almost immediately
Mm-hmm.
because I've got certain things that I look for in the way that they may use English, etc., that I'll be ready sooner rather than later for
Yeah.
folks. Yeah.
And I
And
guess that's another thing that made me comfortable now to talk with clients, is that though I have my own way of, physically, I have my own way of talking, but I guess the language and the thought that needs to be conveyed to clients. So it's like your internal voice. I think I kind of can mimic your internal voice now. So so when I
that's
talk to the
scary.
clients, so when I talk to the clients, I know what to say, or probably in my head, I know what would the flow of the conversation would be, what the right questions should be asked. so that we could get the right information, etc. So it's a process, you know. It took a while. It took 6 years, 7 years to get there.
No, not quite. You've been doing it for a while. And if I had to do it all over again, it would be probably just a few months,
Mhm.
just because I know a little bit more about what I'm doing now.
And that you know
And you
what to
too.
look for now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you too. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So think about, have there been any rough times in working with us?
There was, if you remember, was it last year?
Mhm.
Because that's when I wanted to shift my working schedule from night to morning, because that's when I start having health issues personally. And then my doctor advised me that I have to do some lifestyle changes, which is, well, I need to sleep at night. I cannot do the whole graveyard shift anymore. So I was torn between, because we were also working for Brian, who does work shift, a night shift.
Mhm.
So I was torn between who's going to well, all of us, who's gonna adjust for our team meeting, because it happens at night before in the evening, which is around 10 p.m. for us, for me and Brian. But if I'm gonna start working in the morning, we have to, I guess, do it in the morning too. So we need to find that we need to meet halfway. And we were torn in deciding, because if nobody adjusts, um I have to go. I have to leave the company. So I guess that's one of the challenges. But Brian was nice enough. He said that he could cut some of his chunk of his shift so that he could put it in our meetings in the morning. So I was able to stay. But then that just isn't that one incident. There was this one time before the end of last year when I also wanted to, I guess, move on from the company.
Oh, yeah.
Not in a, yeah, move on in a company, from the company, because I guess I felt like I have learned everything I can learn from PwC. It's been 7 years. And I guess I was looking for something new, because I'm not getting any younger also. When you hired me, I was 20. I'm 27 now. But then things changed when the new year came in, because we had new team members on board, and now they're working on social media. And I thought to myself, well, you haven't really learned everything. There's still social media. There's not just web designer, graphic designer, admin work. So that made me want to stay, because I wanted to see how PwC can flourish in a, and HireMyVA can flourish in a social media setting, and I want to be there when it happens so I can learn from it.
Okay.
So it's the learning aspect that made me stay.
Yeah, I know one of the things when we've had some of our podcasts before, Larry talks a lot about um, some of the surveys, state of the American workforce from various companies, about how the biggest reason that people leave their companies is because they're not being professionally developed.
Oh yeah,
Right. And so you
I remember
felt
that.
that. And I think I, as a leader, did not give you the opportunities like I think I probably should have.
Mm-hmm. And I guess another aspect of that is well, yes, that probably because we have a lot of things on our plate before the end of the year and the months preceding to that. So I guess that what do you call this, that culture of relentless improvement isn't being put out there too much. But then I realized that it shouldn't be triggered by Dave or the team. I should also have an initiative myself to learn, to keep on improving myself. So now on the side, whenever I work with something, I put up an ebook so I can keep on learning and then working at the same time. And
That's good.
and, and then the things that I learn, I use in our team meetings.
Oh,
I
that's
share
right.
it with you guys.
So now what you're doing is you are now we swap back and forth. You lead team meetings one week and I lead them the next week.
Yep.
And we both have different ways of bringing in some development, some education, right? You do it your way and I do it my way, and
Mm-hmm.
and we're good with it. It's good to have that little variety.
Mm-hmm. And I think we're covering both ends, I mean, both facets of what the team needs, because you're more like the technical things, And then whenever I open what I learn, it's more like, oh, how do you guys feel? What is your insight about this personal thing? Remember last time we had
It's all
it
that
was
fluffy stuff, all that fluffy.
but to be honest, that's needed from time to time, because that
It is.
develops that kind of closeness in the team,
Yeah.
that also enables everyone to feel like, I guess Dave or our employer is not scary to talk to, which makes them open up to you more, even in a work setting.
Yeah.
When they want to pitch ideas with you or they need something, it's easier for them to talk to you now, instead of going back and forth thinking if you'll say no or just brush it off and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember at the end of every year, we take the a break at Christmas time, about a week off. Everybody gets a week off, kind of a shutdown. But before we do that, we do like a little game together,
We
right?
do it games. Yeah, we
And
yes, we do some
you
games.
find those, and it's a lot of fun. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yes.
We have a good time. Well, let's bring this to an end here. How can someone best manage and lead their VAs? We talked about a few things here, with the, making sure there's a lot of communication, there's personal development. We talked about that. Giving them the opportunities to learn and grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what in your mind is some of the top couple of things? How can someone best manage and lead their virtual assistants?
Well, um, I guess first, you can divide it into two thoughts. First is, if you really want to build a long-term relationship with your VA so that they stay longer, or you just need a VA to do to work on things that are urgent. So I'm going to talk about the first one, which is, what we kind of have, the long-term one. So if you really want to have a VA who'll stay for a very long time, make sure that you get to know them as a person and not just as a virtual assistant.
Okay.
And then make sure that you ask them what they need in a work setting, if they have the tools that they need, if they have all the resources that would help them do their job better. And
Okay.
then also ask them how their family is, because Filipinos, we are very family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it could be a bad thing, but another one of our traits is that we're very shy. So we're not gonna ask you for things by ourselves. So sometimes you need to poke us a little bit and ask us to tell you what we need. Well, to begin with, that's how it is. And then have fun with your VA, some laugh, make jokes, share stories about your family, because that is what Dave does. Every year he gives us a tour with how he fixes his lawn with all the Christmas lights
Like to
and
do that, huh?
etc.
Yep.
And sometimes he shows us around his walks, and he introduces us to his family, to his wife and kids. And then your VAs would do the same. Dave knows my parents as well whenever they barge in. So so those are the things. Those seem to be small things that are not work related, but those are the things that would actually want your VA to stay with you. Because the
Wow.
work things are just 8 to, I guess, depends on the schedule, but for me, the work aspect of the job is just 6 to 3, 6 to 3, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have the rest of the day to feel if I still want to stay and come to work tomorrow.
Yeah. You want your VAs to be excited about coming to work. Yeah.
Yes. So in yeah, TLDR, too long they didn't read. Your VA needs to feel like they want to keep on going back to you in the morning or at night
Yeah.
because it's fun to work. That's it.
Oh, wow. So much wisdom, Daff. You have grown so much over the last few years. It's enjoyable to see. And that really, it's great to, make money as a company and all that, but to see your team members grow and change and become better people,
Mm-hmm.
that's really rewarding. And as Larry would talk about, that's, not really success, but that's significance. That really
Mm-hmm.
is.
And
So,
also and
but
I'm sorry. And also that's not the feeling. I guess the feeling is mutual because 7 years ago you're also a different person from who you are right now.
ooh.
You didn't really now it's reversed. You didn't really like talking to clients, and then now you're talking in, was it VYs in conferences?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And
Doing
then
quite a
you're
bit. It's amazing.
doing talks for um the WP thingy. I
Oh,
forgot
with
which
the,
one it was.
yeah, like I themes and
Yeah, I
various
themes,
themes. Yeah, it's fantastic.
and you're more comfortable with, I guess, doing some sales talk with some of our clients or new clients. So you
Yeah.
also did a really, really big improvement, Dave. Thank you so much for inspiring us.
So so there's another tip. How do you best manage your virtual assistants as you grow yourself, you make changes because you are, you may not think that they notice, but they do. They
Mhm.
they will notice that your best team members are going to notice. Okay, well, let's bring this to a close. Thanks, Daff, for being on. And thank you all for joining us today and listening. And hopefully, you got some really good tips out of this. And remember, building a
Mhm.
team is the way to reclaim your freedom. And of
Yep.
course, we're here to help you with our course in our community and our white glove service, where we find a rock star VA like Daphne for you. So, three things we'd love for you to do right now, and we'd really appreciate. Number one, subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already done so, either on your iPhone or your Android phone. And then, of course, on YouTube by hitting the subscribe button and clicking on, that little bell next to it so you can get some reminders. And then number two, give us a rating, preferably 5-star, but leave a comment below this video in YouTube or any comment because it helps us to get the word out. And we love to respond, and we will respond. And then number three, go to HireMyVA.com for more information on our course and community and our white glove service. We've got some great free downloads you can take advantage of. And remember, though, even without experience, you'll learn how to prepare for, hire, and thrive with virtual assistants. Larry's not on, but I'm going to echo his sentiments. We're helping the folks. We're loving what we're doing, and we want to help you too. So just go to HireMyVA.com for more information. And
Mhm.
Daff, say goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody. See you next
Bye,
time.
everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.